Very dark man called Hausa people beggars yesterday. Saying Arewa kune problem in Nigeria. Kune kuke da matsala. Jama'a, idan maganan nan yayi zafi, to da alaman akwai iota of truth in it. Akwai alaman gaskiya a ciki. Come closer. I'm from Arewa. And I will tell you categorically, akwai structural problem in northern Nigeria. There's a fundamental problem. Because if you compare an average Arewa man to people all over the world, we are very different. And I'll tell you. It is an average Arewa man. They are killing your people. You are suffering. What happens next? Allah ne Yesu. Why are we very easy to oppress? Fundamental issues. Because an average person is taught never to question authority. The very few that say haba, no, let's question, that probe, that question, su problem ni. An average Arewa person is like that. Hausa, Fulani, other tribes. It is an average Hausa person that tura kazuwa bango. You won't push back. Baraka turi me shiba. Zaka tona bongon nan kai ta shiga ciki. Because tell me why insecurity is ravaging the entire northern Nigeria. And we have people shining their teeth. Kai, they kidnapped his mother. He knows the pain of kidnap. But he's still dancing and singing to the president. Because they found his mother. They would have killed her there. Because they have killed other people. An average northerner is taught never to question authority. And that's the reason why we are where we are. Another thing that bothers me about Arewacin Nigeria, Kunga systems that aka samana in place. Have you seen almajiranci anywhere? But in the north, in the mamuke yin kayanmu, there's a structural problem. Our education. Makarantu nawa, how many graduates from northern Nigeria that graduate from public school have amounted to something? Senada, na yanzu kam, there's a systemic way of bringing down an average Arewa man. Open your eyes, open your ears. That's why the little few of us that open our mouth to talk say, "Ache, you people are very rebellious. Kuna tunchiko surutu." Open your eyes in Arewa. There's a fundamental problem. We are taught never to question authority. That is why we are where we are. Open your eyes. We have the highest level of beggars, poverty, insecurity, suffering. Yet, we will still produce the president. Think about it. Common sense. Think about it.
Understand this. If today we say Nigeria divide, the West is going to survive. The East will survive times 1 billion times. The South region will survive. But you see the North Center, they will not survive. Not only Abuja will survive. They will not survive. They don't have anything to survive on. Yet they have the manpower. These people are honest people. The Hausa-speaking people are honest people. Northerners are the most honest people in Nigeria.
They are living peacefully with your parents. So let us face the bad one. If you are feeling you're too big, or you are too big to ask a Fulanis to join hand with a Fulanis that you know they were living in Yoruba land for more than many years. If you are feeling too big to join hand with them, oh yeah, but you know them now, but no need of you to be destroying their houses. Fetch out the bad people and leave the innocent one live peacefully. But if you say like this, you turn it to a tribalism. Don't forget your people full everywhere in this country. What happened many years back, it will never repeat itself. This time around, we will never fold our hand looking at what you are doing. But if you are here for a peace, for a good, for a better Nigeria, better Yoruba land, Allah will be glad and I will also join you. And I will give you a necessary information that you need, seriously. But if you are doing it for tribalism, just to pursue the strangers or just to pursue the innocent one or some tribes, let me tell you, this thing will never happen. It will never happen. If you pursue us from that land, believe me, you people still they must leave some part of the north. That's the fact.
Arewa people are backwards. Arewa people are illiterates. Arewa people are poor and Arewa people have a regressive mindset. Now, if this statement upsets you because you feel like we're roping the 10% into this generalization, rather than the fact that this is actually true for 90% of the Arewa population, then you're also part of the problem. The educated illiterates, like I like to call them, these are people that feel like we must protect or defend Arewa's reputation or image at any cost, whatever that means. Because, the world sees us exactly for who we are. We have the highest number of out-of-school children in the world. In the world, like the entire globe, the entire earth, we have the highest number of out-of-school children in the world. And Nigeria is on that list because of Arewa. Do not play that mental gymnastics with me. We all know that Nigeria is on that list because of Arewa. India has a population of 1.5 billion people. Nigeria has a population of less than 300 million people. But somehow, Arewa region has more out-of-school children than in India. Do you realize how crazy with this? Nigeria, with just less than 20% of India's population, we have managed to take that trophy home, that we have the highest number of out-of-school children in the world. Higher than India. India would, I don't know if, when I learned it wrecked me, to be honest. Because what do you mean they have a 1.5 billion population, we have a 300 million population, and we have more out-of-school children than them? They're like times 5 plus number of us, but somehow we have taken that trophy home. And we all know that we're there because of Arewa. So the educated illiterates, that are just Arewa pride, come on. It is true. Honestly, it is true. Now is not the time to defend Arewa. Now is the time to realize that something is actually wrong. Something has been wrong for a very long while. And the only way to fix or correct it is by acknowledging that something is clearly wrong. No matter whatever the intentions of people that point this out, we cannot ignore the fact that it's the truth. I remembered someone that we were casually having a conversation and he said something along the lines of, the North remembers. And I was like, what do you mean by the North remembers? She's like, oh, we're powerful, we're united. I was like, we're not. We're hungry and we're vulnerable. If you give people rice, they will do whatever for it. If you give them food or money, they will do whatever for it. Because we're hungry, we're vulnerable. So this image in your head that you've created that we're this united force, we are not. We're plagued by insecurity, plagued by hunger, plagued by, by poverty and illiteracy. Okay, let me calm down. Another thing is we have a morality problem, right? If you want to outrage Arewa people, and this is a proof of our illiteracy, right? If you want to outrage Arewa people, let a woman show skin or hair. That is what will get the most outrage. Not people killing people, not people kidnapping people, not people stealing public funds. Nothing like that. If you want Arewa to be outraged, do something that is morality related. Gossip, all these things. This is what outraged Arewa. I think there was mass weddings that happened in like three states. Let's say from last year to now or more. I don't actually remember. But nothing from the people, nothing from the people. But an actress came out last month, was it, or whatever, to say that she's not going to get married or something along the lines of that. And all of a sudden, people are outraged. I've blocked more than 20 people that came to my FYP because I don't like listening to fools. So when I see that, I just block you because I don't have the patience to listen to you. Like, what do you mean an actress' opinion on whether she wants to get married or not is what gets you outraged? What do you mean that is what gets you upset? I don't even want to talk about the other scandals because I do not even want to acknowledge that they exist. But I know that they exist. I know there's so many causes that we've tried, people have tried all over, to raise awareness on, to get people to talk about it, to get people to demand justice, and nothing will be done about it. Okay, let me move on. Now, and the reason you're upset about this, Arewa illiterate stuff is because it's true. No matter how hurtful it sounds, it is true. There is no denying that we're backward, we're regressive, we're poor, and we're illiterates. And just because you feel like, you and your family, because I used to do this thing, when I was young, and I used to defend Arewa because I feel like all my family members are educated. When I say all, I mean, all my family members are educated. All my family members are privileged to, like, you can understand English. You're part of the privileged population. You went to school. You're part of the privileged, population. So I used to think that, like, my family are Arewa. So when you say statements like that, I used to feel like, oh, that is so wrong because we're not like that. But then I realized we're just like, 10% of the population? We're the minority. The vast majority of the Arewa people are on the streets begging or doing stuff like that. So just because your family and friends do not represent the Arewa population, just because you feel like everybody in your family is educated, everybody in your family is privileged, everybody in your family has a decent job or is making a decent living, does not mean that, that is the reality for the Arewa. If 9 out of 10 people, in your house are doctors and you say that, my family are doctors, would that be a wrong statement? Of course, the most correct statement is going to be most of my family members. But if 9 out of 10, if you use the 9 to represent the 10 people, would that be wrong? It would not. And that is the exact situation we're here in Arewa. Arewa is illiterate. Arewa is illiterate. I'm part of Arewa and I'm saying Arewa is illiterate. Because 1% or 10% of the population does not mean, you know, that Arewa is not going through whatever it is that it's going through. And again, you know, why don't you try these generalizations with other people, other countries, other regions, and you would see if they would react the same way. Because, you know, it's not true, honestly. Why don't you say the Chinese are underdeveloped or whatever? Nobody's going to get upset because it's just not true. So you're upset, you're angry because you know it is true, all right? And another thing is, you know, not everything is an attack. Honestly, not everything that comes from someone has to be an attack. It hurts you.
This morning is not a new thing. What I'm saying this morning is something that some have the understanding of, but nobody wants to speak about it. And the more we cover things like this, evil is like sin. It thrives in secrecy. The more you keep it secret, the more you gain power. The first way to counter evil is to expose it. They say the Christians have now extended not only into the remote areas in the north, but also into the cities, as well as our Islamic leaders who have moved. So they said there is a mandate that the Islamic leaders have given them, that Christianity in the north must not grow into the cities, into the metropolis of the north. That Christians should remain in the suburb areas, in the villages. But now that Christianity has grown into the, and they said the leaders that gave them this mandate, they mentioned their names here. Number one is Emir of Sokoto, Tijani Babangida, Alhaji Abubakar Gumi. So when you see Gumi doing all those nonsense, he's back. These are the people that give them the orientation and the ideology to do jihad. I'm calling their names this morning so that you know that I'm not playing. Emir of Sokoto, Tijani Babangida, Alhaji Abubakar Gumi, Alhaji Shehu Megnuda, Malam Suka, Kamarja, etc. That they have given them a mandate to ensure that Christianity does not grow into the cities as part of the north. But now they are seeing big churches in the north, and they must bring it down. The mandate I can give to them is to ensure that anywhere they see big churches in the north, they must pull it down and raise a mosque there. This is because they feel that it is against the Quran for a church to be standing side by side with a mosque. They say it is against Quran, it is against the tenet of Islam for a mosque and a church to be standing by side. So anywhere there are big churches, and again the people that gave them the mandate are Sheikh Gumi, Abubakar Gumi, Sultan of Sokoto, what's that his name again? The Sultan of Sokoto, the Emir of Sokoto, Alhaji Shehu Megnuda, Malam Suka Kamadia, and the rest of them. That they must not allow mosques to grow, the churches to stand, big churches to stand in the north. So they must ensure by all means they bring it down. I'm not going to say all today. What I'm giving today is just one side, because the meeting is long. We still have to preach today. But I need to expose this, so that such a man must not have the power. How does such a man see that? Do you know that his position that he held under Buhari was a compensation for his atrocity or for his part the part he has played in the fulfillment of the jihad in Nigeria? So they compensated with an appointment, not because of competency. When he held the position of Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, it was Buhari compensating him for his role in jihadism in Nigeria. One thing you cannot take away from Islam is that they are strategic. They are good planners, they are very intentional, and they are strategic. And now that they are pushing to become a governor, there's a plan. Christian and all this while, Christians are just moving on. We don't even understand that every day they keep killing. If they don't kill today in Nasarawa, it is in Kaduna. Every part of the northern Nigeria where there are Christians, they keep annihilating Christian. And the Christianity do not do anything, they're just moving on. But you see the plan. I'm telling you, look at it. Are you seeing plans, strategies? As far back as 2010, there are some that they started for as far back of 40 years ago. And they said to checkmate the growth of Christianity in the north, all Islamic clergies must pay visit to the state governors of the northern state and the traditional rulers. So for them to be able to checkmate the growth of Christianity in the north, they have to pay visit. That all the Islamic cleric must pay visit to the governors of the northern state and the traditional rulers in the northern state. What do they do? Number one, that they must develop a policy to see that all churches built in their respective state capitals are demolished to allow a mosque in the state capital, in the city capital. All our pastors are busy building 2,000 capacity, 30,000 capacity, 150,000 capacity auditorium. These guys are strategizing on how to ensure that they capture the church, how to ensure they cripple the church. This is as far back as 2010. I'm not speaking English. The security operator of the they have information to this thing I'm saying. DSS know of this. NIA know of this. National Intelligence Agency, they know of this thing I'm saying. But nobody will act. Are you following me? I pity Christians in Nigeria. I'm telling you, you have no idea what they have planned for you. That was their plan. By so doing, provided the Christians specific areas. So they will have to take some specific areas and give to Christians. Recently, somebody sent me a message, and he sent me, was it in Kano State? I can't remember now. And he sent me that there was a land that the church bought to build, and the government of the state collected the land. They confiscated the land. This is part of the strategy to ensure they don't build big churches in the north. And so wherever there are big churches, the governors of the state must ensure by all means, using his veto power as the governor, to confiscate it, pull it down, and allow Islam and allow mosques to grow there. They said they will not give, the government will not give some areas to Christians to build their churches, and it will be in the remote areas. And they said they will call the place Church Street. Is there? Number two, what was the second aim? For them to do, what are the second thing they intend to do? They said Christian preaching in the streets. That Christian preaching in the streets in their respective state, that the government or the governor of each of those other states must ensure that Christians preaching on the streets must be stopped and abolished. Any Christian found preaching on the street must be what? Must be persecuted. This was the reason why they killed Evangelist Eunice in 2016 on the street of Abuja when she was preaching. She was on a morning cry in the morning, preaching in the morning, and they killed that woman on the street. Until today, nobody did anything about it. Because they know that it is Christians that do that. It is Christians that have the mandate of going into all the world and do what? And preach the gospel. So that Christians must ensure, that the state governors must ensure that preaching of the gospel on the street must be abolished. And anybody that is found must be persecuted. This was why they have the temerity and the audacity to kill Evangelist Eunice when she was preaching on the street in 2016.
Dying every day. Had you people risen up to say that what is happening in Nigeria is bad, there is no way that Fasoranti's daughter will not be alive today. That is the price you pay for duplicity. That is the price you pay for treachery. That is the price you will continue to pay until you rise up and say enough is enough. It is up to you to do it. You did it during NSAS. You can do it again. Can you imagine Fulani people telling you, if you remove Fulanis from Yoruba forest, imagine Fulani telling you, if you remove them from your ancestral lands, there will be war, and you are panicking. And you have not asked yourself, why are they not saying the same thing about the East? Why did they not say to Eastern Security Network? Why did they not say to me, if you don't stop evacuating Fulani terrorists from the forest, there will be war? Because they know, they understand psychologically that you don't have what it takes to resist them. Do you know why Borno State is still alive? Why you still have the Kanuri people in Borno today? Was because they resisted the Fulani centuries ago. You have to go back to history to understand how Nigeria came into existence. Fulani has been expanding from day one, from Senegambia. All the way from Senegambia, they've been expanding, and now they are in Okigwe. All the way from Senegambia. They are now in Okigwe. And you're asking us to somehow fold our hands and keep quiet because of 2023, because one idiot is going to come out to become a president. Because of that rubbish, because of that nonsensical notion, we should fold our hands and wait until we are overrun by the Janjaweed from the Sahel. Is that how reasonable people think? Is that how people that wish to survive as a race, is that how they reason? It is very, very shocking that some of you do not understand what the Fulanis have in store for you. Very, very soon it is going to happen. And when it happens, your eyes will clear. And about whom you will see it very clearly. I was warning you in 2014, 2015, 2016. They said he's a warmonger. He's a warmongering. I went to America and I told World Igbo Congress that this war you are avoiding is going to come to your villages. They said, no, it's not going to happen. What is happening today? When Yoruba was supporting the dead idiot called Buhari, did I not warn them that this evil you're supporting will consume you? They never listened. They never wanted to listen. IPOB is a terrorist group. You're trying to divide Nigeria.